Bienvenue, power bottoms. Last time I did one of these, a speed paint, was back in my early era of YouTube, which was circa 2018. So it's been a hot second. I wasn't sure if these were still relevant anymore, so I asked you guys on Instagram if they were, and a vast majority of you said yes. So here we are. I drew this piece back in September, and I struggle with it a lot if you couldn't clearly tell. Like, I gave up on several occasions, but my brain was like, no, just keep trying. Just keep trying to figure it out. Like, it's like, I don't know why I didn't grab a reference model earlier. I could have avoided all this hassle if I just broke out the 3D model, which I eventually did. Shout out to Magic Poser. They always come through. Guys, use your references, use your models. I don't know about you, but me personally, the less work I do, the better. So cheat with your art, but do it ethically. I'm not gonna go into detail because that's not this type of video. But yeah, cheat, baby. It will save you so much time and energy, and also it helps you learn. Yeah, this piece took me an exceptionally long time to do because I'm so busy, I'm so stressed, and because I'm so stressed, I don't have the abundance of inspiration or motivation to draw like I used to do when I was unemployed. So now it takes me a while to like crank out these illustrations, which sucks because I don't really make a lot more art like I used to. On the other hand, what this piece really benefited from was now I focus more on the piece, and so I can like add more to it, because the problem I have is oftentimes I find myself wanting to just get an illustration done and over with because I have this other idea that I want to put more time and energy to, so I'm just like, whatever, it's fine, we're posting and we're moving on. But because I don't have anything queued up in my brain, I put more energy into stuff, which again, this is what this benefited from. At the time, I was rewatching Jacksepticeye's God of War playthroughs, which, oh my god, I love God of War so much. Have I ever played the game? No. Do I plan on it? Absolutely not. But I know the lore. And I love the lore, and the lore is so, oh my god. I only just recently sat down and actually watched an in-depth explanation on like what goes down in God of War, because like I knew some of the details because Sean will go into detail about it while he's playing the game, but actually knowing all this stuff is like, oh my god, like some of the stuff that happens in God of War 3 is bonkers, my guy. Anyways, with the God of War games surrounding the Norse mythology lore, I love them so much, mainly because I love the story of Kratos and his son Atreus, because I am a sucker for that sort of family growth and bonding, and it's so good. Like, dead ass, when God of War Ragnarok came out, I remember because I was taking B-reels when this was going on. I was so excited. I was looking forward to every day when Sean uploaded a new God of War Ragnarok playthrough because I was so invested in that storyline. Like, it's so good. I'm just saying this from a storytelling standpoint. I don't know about like the actual gameplay, but like I'm obsessed with the story. I think it's great. I have a fun time every time. And so I had this idea of like Atreus and Kratos back to back, because in the first game, there's like gameplay you can do when you're fighting Magni and Modi where like Atreus is behind Kratos and like they're sort of like back to back protecting each other. And I wanted to show that when like Atreus is older, because by the time I actually got to this point in the sketch, I had finished the God of War playthroughs and I was now on God of War Ragnarok. And so it's like, okay, well, we'll do Age of Atreus because it's actually more recent in terms of, I guess, the lore, and it worked out. I didn't talk about the process. Hold on, let me talk about the process. The difference with this illustration is compared to other ones that I've done in the past, and I think worked really well for this piece, and why I'm even making this video, because I don't like the way that my processes look for my other illustrations, because typically when I draw, I usually start with the sketch layer, and then I do a line art, and then I do flat colors, and then I do some lighting and shading, and maybe if I feel like it, I'll do a background, but don't count on it because I hate it. I hate backgrounds so much! But for this piece, I wanted it to be messy, because I knew with my typical style, I would have been very, very annoyed when it came to the line art portion of it, because in case you didn't notice, the God of War characters have very intricate character designs. Don't even get me started on their weaponry, because oh my god, why? Anyway, I knew that because their designs are so detailed, and I don't have the time for that, I don't have the patience, I don't want to do all that. I knew that if I kept the whole shebang with a messy beat to it, that it would work out better than having really clean lines. So what I did here was I just duplicated my sketch layer, and then I just made it into like a darker color, and then I just cleaned it up a little bit, and it worked out really well, and it saved me a lot of time and a lot of energy. And honestly, I like it a lot better like this. I tried this method ages ago and it didn't work out, but I finally figured it out now doing this. So I'm very grateful that I did this one time, because now I'm actually obsessed with this, because this is great. I really liked it. I think it really worked out, and it also made coloring a lot of fun. I wish I could tell you how that process went, but I honestly don't remember what I did, because again, this was done back in September and I'm recording this in October, and I've lived so many lives since then that I don't remember a single thing. A lot of this was cleaning up the line art, sketch, whatever, and then finding the right colors, because I'm trying to get in the habit of not eye dropping the colors from the references that I'm using, because a lot of the times they don't have the same. There's like lighting and effects on the references I find online, so it's like, okay, I'm just gonna see if I can eyeball it. And I found that worked, and I'm getting better at that. If anything, I'm just trying to figure out how to do lighting, which was the biggest issue with this piece. I think it turned out fine. Maybe not as I expected in my brain, but you can only do so much when you only have like 22 layers on Procreate. I wanted all 3 weapons to sort of glow because they glow in the game. Like when you use Kratos' Blades of Chaos, they will like leave a lingering red glow, and then when you can freeze the axe, I think in the second game, like you can start up with a frozen thing and then you throw it and then it does woo-doo-doo-doo-doo and all that choppity chop chop. And then Atreus, he can do magic. He's got like sonic arrows and runic arrows. I really like the sonic color better, because originally I was going to do the runic because it's like, oh, he's magic. But I liked the color better for the Sciafa arrows that he uses. So I went with that instead because I feel like it just blended better. Also, it's kind of like blue, red, and green. Oh my god. The only thing that I would have adjusted, I think, was probably Atreus's face a little bit, because I think I made his face a little too small with his head a little bit too round, which I could just chalk up to my art style, because I do have a tendency to make the eyes bigger because I like that balance between cartoonish anime with realism. But who's to say if that was an artistic choice or simply a lack of skill? If I could have, I would have worked on Kratos' hands and the arms a little bit. But I think it worked out because I ended up covering it with like the lighting and the shading, which, oh my god, I love when you get to that point in the drawing where you can hide things. I love hiding things, because when I'm coloring, it's like, oh, this is so bad. And it's like, wait, I know how to fix this. And that's with a lot of excessive overlays. Yeah, no, I tried to really, I don't know, the cool thing about coloring and lighting is that it really can help amplify the scene you're trying to set, because I really wanted to give off this, I don't know, je ne sais quoi of like sort of the storyline that happens with Kratos and what he goes through, because I mean there's intentionality behind everything here, like Kratos holding the axe as opposed to the blades, and the blades glowing and shining on Atreus while Atreus is notching his bow. Like there's a lot of intentionality that I put behind it that no one would ever know just because they saw it on Instagram, liked it, and scrolled, and they'll never think of it ever again. But I know it, and I think that's what matters the most to me. But whatever. I don't know. I had a lot of fun with this, and I wanted, I don't know, to show you guys, hey, look what I did. Isn't this cool? Isn't this rad? I don't know how I did it, but I have the proof that shows that I did it, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Like, I just had a lot of fun with this, mainly because I just love God of War, and I put in a lot of time into doing it, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. Like, I think some things could be better, but I think ultimately I got my point across, whatever that point was. Hi, don't look at my bangs. I tried to style my bangs so it looks like Sabrina Carpenter, but it keeps wanting to do this millennial side swoop. I don't want to hear it. Yes, the speed paint is done, but I have some things I want to say about God of War. I might have said this earlier, but I'm gonna repeat it here just in case. I have never played God of War in my entire life. I do not plan on playing God of War, but I know what goes down in it, and I love it. I love Kratos as a character. I think his storyline is very unique. And I love his growth, specifically all the stuff that he goes through from his time in Olympus to the end of like Ragnarok, even Valhalla, honestly. In the DLC Valhalla, Kratos is offered the position to be the God of War for the Norse gods, I believe. And through the trials of Valhalla, he's able to sort of work through his trauma that he's had and how he views himself as a leader. And I love that. I think it's so interesting to like see this character go through all of these trials and tribulations and be able to get to the point where they can finally know peace and understand the growth that they've gone through and how that reflects in his relationship with his son. Like oh my God, guys, he just is a great example of growth and choosing to be better because of all the stuff that he's gone through and what he's learned. Like a lot of the choices he makes is for the betterment of his son because his son makes him want to be better. And like even then, because a lot of the things that Kratos, like his decisions he makes out of fear, because like with Faye, which I don't know if just Sean didn't catch it, but like when I was rewatching God of War Ragnarok, Atreus casually points out, oh, Lao Fei, like my mom, and I was like, Lao Fei? Your mom's name's Lao Fei? We've been calling her Faye this whole time. I guess if we called her Lao Fei, then we know that like, oh my God, it's Loki. But they did it. Oh, you know what else was so cool? In God of War Ragnarok, in the opening scene, Atreus walks in with like a deer over his shoulder, but the way that it shows on camera is like you can see the antlers from the deer, and so it looks like the horns because he's Loki. details, baby, details. I cannot with these fuck ass bangs. You never like have so many thoughts that you want to say, but they're all just sort of vibrating, and so they're not being coherent enough. At the end of God of War Ragnarok, Atreus goes off to do his own thing. I would love a little graphic novel or something of like Atreus' journey with him and Angrboda and like the letters he gets from his father, because oh my god, in the Valhalla DLC, because throughout the games it's assumed that Atreus is the one writing all the like the notes and like the information that you get of like, oh, this is our foe, this is our enemy, this is some lore that I found, I'm writing this all down, I'm drawing it out or whatever. It's assumed that that's Atreus is doing. By the end of the game, Atreus is no longer with you, so when you get to the DLC, you're still getting these like notes and these like drawings or whatever, and the way that it's written, it's assumed that Kratos is the one writing it, and I'm like, oh my god, wait, is he writing this for his son? Like, is he keeping a journal of all this stuff that he does for his son? I'm like, oh my god, I have trauma. I just really love God of War, and there's probably a bunch more stuff that I could say, but again, the synapses are not clicking. They are just vibrating exponentially at this point. This was my speed paint that I did that was based off of God of War Ragnarok. Shout out to Sean. Thanks for the playthroughs, babes. I really enjoyed drawing this piece, and I'm really glad I could share it with you guys. If you want more art from me, I have an Instagram dedicated to my art. I also do have a Kara, but like I haven't been on there in a while, mainly because I cannot remember my login information, and it keeps logging me out. So who knows if I'm gonna just keep that going. But yeah, mainly post on there, unfortunately. Do you have anything you'd like to say? Okay, well, that's certainly gonna get me demonetized. Until next time, my dream believers and adventure seekers.